My name is Dave Moore, D-A-V-E-M-O-O-R-E. I'm a volunteer with PIKE OTA. We're here today for one reason. That's because the Turnpike Authority says they want public input about Norman toll roads that they want to build. But they seem to have amnesia about what's been going on for the past 3 years, and indeed the past 26 years, about the overwhelming and consistent input the citizens of Central Oklahoma have been giving them, that we will repeat again to them tonight, which is no turnpikes. The engineers who are in the room in there to brainwash us and flim-flam the public into believing they have been ordered by the Supreme Court to build the Norman Turnpikes come hell or high water are in for a big surprise when they learn what's most important here. Not the phony traffic studies that they have fraudulently invented, not the Ponzi scheme financing that they've made up that can never, ever, never be paid off. Not the economic development lies that they have hypnotized the Chamber of Commerce and the county commissioners into believing. The most important thing here is the citizens of Norman just don't want the turnpikes. And that has been made abundantly clear for years. So we as Oklahoma citizens are appealing directly to Executive Director Kelly, to Secretary of Transportation Yats, and to Governor Stitt. Do what Secretary of Transportation McCaleb did in 1999. Tell the Turnpike Authority to stop. Let our people go. And now, let's hear from Norman's Mayor-elect, Mr. Stephen Holman.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you all for being here this afternoon. As someone that grew up in Norman myself and has spent a lot of time in rural Norman and throughout the metro area traveling around, I really just personally do not support this turnpike proposal coming through Norman. And the overwhelming public feedback that I have consistently heard for the last 3 years since this proposal was announced has been opposition to it. That Norman residents do not, by an overwhelming margin based on the feedback and the experience that I've received and seen at city council meetings and through various different forms of feedback, do not want this coming through Norman. They do not support the taking of hundreds of people's property against their will, the impact to the environment, to the rural character of East Norman, and the just long-term negative impact that this proposal has on our community. So the official stance of the City of Norman government is a unanimous resolution that was passed in 2022 that opposes this project happening in our city limits. And at this current point, that resolution still stands, and I do not foresee the City Council voting to repeal that anytime soon. So I'm going to continue to stand with our residents of Norman that are fighting for their properties, that are fighting for their lives, fighting to protect the rural character and the environment of East Norman and all of Norman, really. I mean, this fight isn't just for the property owners of Norman and the environment that we have. This is statewide right here. This is other areas that could be impacted by turnpikes and highways in the future. So as mayor-elect and as soon to be mayor of Norman, I'm going to continue to support and do everything I can to stand with our residents who oppose this and who are going to continue to fight it. And as the City of Norman government, we will continue to explore any options that we have to continue to support our residents in fighting this proposal through Norman. I don't think we need it. I don't think that any positive that it has outweighs the very harmful and negative aspects that it brings with it. So again, I am very supportive of our residents. I hope there are some very good questions asked tonight and hopefully some answers given about what the future of this is. And I look forward to hearing some of the feedback. I have a city council meeting to go to. Otherwise, I would be here tonight as well. So thank you again all for being here. And up next, I think we have Randy Carter.
All right. Good evening. Access Oklahoma. the most devastating road building project in the history of the state of Oklahoma, possibly even the history of our nation. Our governor bemoans the destruction of homes and lives after a recent tornado that hit the city of Sulphur not too long ago, which he should. It devastated that community. Then, the governor had the gall to whine about a building on some personal property that he owned that got damaged in a recent wildfire, even going so far as to call for the dissolution of an agency as a result of that damage. Yet, he has orchestrated the massive Category 5 Turnpike storm that intends to destroy hundreds and hundreds of homes, potentially leaving thousands of Oklahomans, his fellow Oklahomans, homeless and financially devastated. When he announced the Access Program in February of 2022, he said that these proposed turnpikes would only be going through unimproved farmland. First of all, I can't imagine any governor of Oklahoma thinking that farmland is unimproved land. Well, here's a picture of my personal unimproved farmland. He must think that these overpriced, unwanted, and unneeded turnpikes are better improvement over this unimproved land. I personally don't think so. This wind is a challenge. I got it. I call on the governor to stop this overpriced, unwanted, and unneeded devastation to thousands of Oklahoman lives. Stop the turnpikes. Governor, you would leave an heroic legacy as the greatest governor in the history of the state of Oklahoma if you would stop these turnpikes. Return them to free roads as they were originally promised when the OTA was first created. Is the mayor still here? Okay, well, the mayor left. Anybody in the media have any questions for Dave or I? Yes.
Randy, so at the last meeting in Purcell, representatives of the Turnpike Authority said that meeting, as well as this meeting, is not for questioning whether the turnpike should be built, that time has ended. Were you or anybody else ever given a town hall meeting or a chance to voice whether you wanted a turnpike?
No.
The Turnpike Authority has never directly asked us if we want this or not, if that answers your question. No. From the very beginning, the town hall meetings that they had back in, I believe, the spring of 2022 were nothing more than the same kind of meeting we're having tonight. They just were showing people where the turnpike was proposed to go, and they didn't ask us if we wanted it. They just said, this is where it's going to be.
We were told this meeting is, to let you all have the opportunity to look at a map and draw up a potential alignment that's further west toward I-35. Do you think that is something anybody here would do or is interested in, or are you simply, asking for them to just not have any alignment?
Well, we would propose to have no alignment whatsoever. Yeah, here, Dave.
The people of Norman have been telling the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority for 26 years, no turnpikes. Oh, say it over here in front of your microphones. Sorry about that. Yeah. The people of Norman have been telling the OTA the same thing since 1999, when Neil McCaleb, the Secretary of Transportation, said, we have listened to the people of Central Oklahoma, and he dropped the project. Now that can happen again here too. The input from people of Norman has always consistently been no turnpikes, not where is it going to go. And so, in my opinion, these meetings are a sham, because Terry Angier already told everybody up front, we're not going to take any input at all except where's the turnpike going to go. We don't want to hear from you people that don't want the turnpikes. Well, this is, by God, the United States of America, and I have free speech, and I can say no turnpikes to them anytime they want to listen, because I'm going to say it anyway, and so is everybody else here. So they better just clean up their act and cut this stuff out. It's unnecessary. It's not right. We shouldn't even be here.
Any other questions?
Do you think the pressure from you all could change their mind, or is there legal action that could be taken further? I know that has been attempted already.
I would say both. The answer to that, yes, there's a possibility of legal action, and also they may open up their ears and listen to us. If we say it long enough and strong enough, the message might get through. Any other questions?
Is there any additional challenges being seen that the city and many of its residents are opposing this, but it seems that Cleveland County may be at least on board with the discussion of an extension that would cut through Norman?
I believe what you're talking about, Cleveland, the county commissioners of Cleveland County voted a resolution to allow the access roads, some access roads. I believe those are more concerned with the east-west connector than they are with the southern extension, and the southern extension is what they're here to talk about tonight.
Terry Angier has accused your group of spreading misinformation, and she accused your group of spreading misinformation about environmental concerns and also about homes that are going to be torn down. Anything else I have forgotten?
Tassie, would you like to address that?
I'll say we're going to have a contest to crown misinformation sometime this year.
Tassie, can you answer that?
I'll just step up because I do have something to add here. The question of misinformation, I really feel like is a classic case of Terry Angier perhaps needing to reflect on her own statements. In fact, I will tell out loud that Terry Angier and I have a mutual acquaintance. And when the acquaintance and I were discussing the origins of the Access program, the mutual acquaintance, who is also a journalist, stated, I knew she was lying through her teeth when they discussed it early in the process. I have felt the same way about all of Ms. Angier's statements and misinformation that she has put forward. If she is serious, I would invite her and the OTA to provide an itemized listing of every property taken for the Driving Forward program, with a list of the price given to the property owner and the subsequent sale price as it was declared surplus and flipped to real estate developers, in some cases just weeks later. And so until OTA is forthcoming and upfront about its side business in real estate, they are really in no position to be making allegations like that. So
One follow-up. I pressed her to list what she thought was misinformation on your behalf, your group's behalf. What misinformation would you detail on their behalf?
I think
Have a week.
the origins of the Access project planning, because I put in an open records request when our open meetings lawsuit was still pending, but I did not get the actual revealing documents until it had been fully adjudicated that indicated the planning for this was taking place in the summer of 2021. And I will remind you to go back and look at that press conference, especially including Mr. Streb's statements at the Crosspoint Church meeting, where he claimed in March of 2022, quote, this project is only 9 days old. We're at the beginning of the beginning. We absolutely know that was not the case. OTA has never owned that misinformation. All of their public documents have different start dates, December, January, February, and they've just never acknowledged that. So from the beginning, they got off on the wrong foot. The statement about they are continually reassuring people, and they did this in a social media post today, we promise we give you good value for your home, you'll do well, people do well with us. Well, we have an itemized list of the court cases that came about from the Driving Forward program, and many property owners who challenged OTA's lowball valuation did much better after years of litigation than the amount they were originally offered OTA. And then regarding the environmental issues, we have never seen any evidence of an environmental study. They are always claiming how much they care about the environment, but until we actually see visible evidence of an actual study that is not just one of their, what's the word I'm looking for? One of their, like the traffic study, honestly, was a joke. And I say this as someone with some knowledge of qualitative and quantitative research. Their contractors give them information that they want. There's no independent analysis. And we fully expect any environmental study will be contaminated by that same conflict of interest. So until there is an honest, independent, professionally credentialed environmental study, I will not believe anything OTA says. That's my little rant. Thank you for letting me insert myself into your press conference.
Thank you, Tassie.
Yep, we're going to wrap it up and go inside and see what's going on. Thanks for being here, you guys.